Okay, when you're ready, go ahead.
Notice transition blend right here. Say something, Mom. Say something. Tell these people.
So, you know, one thing I realized what you do is you make it look like a first session. Making that first session look like almost a finished product, but I notice you're very meticulous with leaving space. Why is that important, Don? What's the space for?
So on the first session, the problem is sometimes you'll see treatments that just look like it's shoe polish and it looks like painted on, and that is because some practitioners or artists are going too dense even on the first session. And what happens if you put too much ink on the scalp on the first session, it's all going to puddle together. So for the first session, you want to space it apart, real specific. So what that's doing is it's setting you up, it's giving you like a primer coat. You're building yourself up. So on the second session, we're going to go with this darker color. So when you combine the soft dots with the darker dots, it gives you a 3D effect. So, but even for our first session, you can see the difference. We increase the density, so we actually want the client to feel like, you know, his first session is a second, just with the density that we're giving. But we know the limit, we know where to stop. You know, you don't want what we call a chicken scratch, is where the pigments migrate together. Notice the temple right here. So this client wanted a nice natural look.
I have a question about the scar. What was the motive behind leaving that there?
So as you can see, this scar is natural. Show them. Right here, the scar starts actually here, right here. And as you can see, what I did before I even did his hairline, I went through and I drew his scar how it naturally is in its natural state. That way, when I went through and did the hairline, I just went around that and kept it. Scars give a nice characteristic to the treatment itself. It gives you like a individualness. It makes it like unique. It makes the treatment look more realistic. So as you can see, just for the first session, we wipe that scar off. You can see it just looks natural. It flows into his hairline. You can see this is where we stopped so far. We still got fill in the back crown. But from here to here, that's a basic first session. So once that settles and he comes back next week for the second, what we're doing is just going through the empty little spaces with the darker pigment, which gives you more of a three-dimensional effect. It's like pointillism. We're giving you the look of hair is actually popping out. It doesn't just look flat. That's why you never want to have your first session too dense or too dark, because the color will just look flat and it won't have no contrast or realism. Again, right here, this is where his natural hair is. As you can see, what we're doing is a method it's one of these methods that I actually developed years ago, is the direction of the hair growth. So we're actually putting follicle impressions that match the hair pattern. So it's just not random dots. We're making it so if his hairs are going this way, we replicate that hair follicle to actually go in that same direction. So it gives you more of a realism effect. So even when the client shaves it with the razor, it's gonna look like the hairs are growing in that same pattern of his natural state.
If you notice what I was telling you, to pay attention at some point, it might look like Jonathan's attacking, but actually what he's doing is coming out quicker.
Yeah. You know.